motion to approve tonight's agenda for September 25th.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion changes? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes from September 11th?
Motion to approve the minutes from September 11th. Second.
Okay. Any questions, changes? No. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We're good. All right. School committee chairperson comments. I don't have any comments this evening. So I think we can roll into student comments. All right.
I'm going to introduce, we have one returning student rep, one new student rep, and we have a third one. So first we have Fallon, who's returning this year, and she was with us last year and then ended up having a conflict that couldn't be avoided like at that latter part of the year. And so we reached out to say, hey, do you want to join us again? And she said she really enjoyed it and was hoping that she could, and it was very sincere. So we're happy to have you back. And we also have Mina, who's here, and he'll be joining. He's a junior. And we also have Hannah Lay is the other alternate. They're basically going to alternate between the two. We couldn't decide. Thank you to the committee that helped with the interviews, but we thought they were outstanding. We figured the more the merrier. And so Mina's here tonight. Hannah will be here on another night. And so I'm going to welcome you officially, and I'll turn it over to you to give some updates for us.
Awesome. Okay, so this week at school, it's going to be Homecoming Spirit Week. And every day of the school week, there's going to be spirit-themed days, including Pajama Day, Nipmuc Pride, and a lot more. Today was actually Taylor Swift Era Day, which personally I was a big fan of. Friday is the annual Homecoming Pep Rally, and sports teams will have time to run out on the field and perform like a 30-second routine followed by a small speech dedicated to the captains, thanking everyone for their support and letting fans know what's to come next for their team, dates to look out for and stuff like that. The teams representing fall sports will be cross country, golf, soccer, volleyball, football, the unified cheer, followed by cheerleaders' halftime routine. And then on Saturday, the homecoming dance will be on Saturday from 7 to 10.
Additional updates you want to share?
I think we're all very excited for this coming weekend. I know football, especially in band, is very excited to play what we have for the teams. And I think it's going to be a great weekend. This is Nipmuc's year football.
Good.
All right. I was getting a little ahead of myself. Thank you guys, both welcome. Thank you for joining. I look forward to the updates on a regular basis here. Should be good. I apologize, in my haste, I skipped over an agenda item. Are there any community comments in the room? Sam, anybody online want to chat?
I see no hands raised.
Lance, all right.
I'm
Excellent.
telling you, the document's not the same. I don't know what's going on.
Really got last year's one. All right, why don't we move over to Dr. Cohen and the superintendent and administrator comments?
All right, thank you. So I just want to thank our administrators and teachers and staff who have been doing a great job with the open houses. We had a number of open houses taking place at schools last week, and we also are continuing into this week as well. It's a great opportunity. If parents and families haven't been to an open house, it's a great opportunity to come in and learn about the school and to meet the teachers and just learn that you have a great first impression. So I hope that continues to go well. Just want to thank everyone who came to that. Because I just signed up for this, I'm going to share that the Mendon-Upton Ed Foundation Spooky Run registration is opened.
Nice.
That is going to be on October 29th. We haven't, it was paused around COVID, and we hadn't run it, I think, for a couple of years, but it's a really fun activity. They have a junior spooky run for some of the younger students, and I usually can be seen at the end walking sometimes with my friends, but I highly recommend that you check it out. So that's fun. This past week, so Nipmuc hosted more than 100 international fellows from the National Defense University, which is in Washington, DC. So that was this past Wednesday. This is something that we do every year, and it's the 7th time this group of future diplomats from across the globe have visited Nipmuc to learn about American education. And what they do, they come, there's general meetings, and they shadow the teenagers throughout the school day. And the National Defense University, if you've never heard of it, is an extension of the National War College. And students who attend this master's program have been sent by their home countries in recognition of their potential for future diplomatic roles. And it's a great opportunity. I don't know if either of you saw any of the, visitors that we had, but I know they love coming to Nipmuc and keep asking to come back every year. Do you want to share anything? Did you get to see any of them or talk to any of them?
That was a lot of fun. I remember I was in an economics class, and they actually had a lot to add about economics from all different parts of the world, kind of like, if I can remember correctly, Israel and Pakistan and places like that. And all across the world, they kind of had something to add about economics and something to chime in about and kind of teach us something and step away. And I think all of my teachers were appreciative of that, adding a new perspective into the classroom. And it was so much fun, especially lunchtime too, was funny with everyone sitting back together again around a lunch table. I think they really enjoyed that, the camaraderie of it all.
Do you have anyone in your class? Do you remember?
I was out this week.
Yeah.
I was out this the previous week,
All
but
right, so you missed it
Yeah,
this year.
I do remember my time last year with them, and I do have some friends of the same nationality that we would look for someone coming from Egypt because me and my friends were all Egyptian, and it's a really nice time to like connect with people who come from where you are from, and to kind of like go back to thinking about your culture in a place that you often can't.
Thanks for sharing that. So it's a great opportunity. I just wanted to be able to highlight that here. People were unaware of that. And also for those who might be in the same boat as me, wondering what financial aid and FAFSA and NIFA and all of that is about for college, now that I have a senior line, even if you don't have to be a senior to attend, but on Tuesday, October 10th, I just wanted to put this date out there at Nipmuc from 6 o'clock to 7:30. Parents of seniors are invited, and others can go as well for information on all things financial aid. And we'll tell you about the college financial aid application process and all types of financial aid you can have, what determines your aid eligibility, etc. So I want to throw that out there as well. I will be sending out a newsletter at the end of the week, so I'm trying to maintain the district newsletter once a month on top of the weekly ones that the schools are sending. So some of what I've just talked about, some of those headlights will be in that newsletter as well. That's it for some quick updates. I'm going to ask if Joe and Colleen can come on up. And they'll be giving some highlights. Technology.
Is
that your good side?
What's that?
You said, is that your good side?
I don't know. We'll find out. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hope you had a good summer. Nice to see y'all. I
You
think
want
you're,
to start off? Am I start off?
you go first.
Okay, so I
You're
just
up
wanted
top.
to share a few things that are going on. So last year, Dave Quinn led, along with a team of folks, and applied for the Innovation Pathways grant, which we were awarded $75,000 for computer science. The computer science classes and after-school programs are up and running, and we're going to continue that work of implementation and how that will look. We've already started meeting so that we can make sure that we're doing everything that the grant is asking for, of course, and have full implementation. But we also started to look at what will be our next pathway that we could possibly apply for. And we're looking at business. And the application is due October 26th for the first level. So we've already started that planning process. So hopefully we'll get to dive into that a little bit more as the year goes out. The other thing that we have is DESE, the Learning Accelerator EdTech Systems Guide. Last year, also, Dave Quinn led a learning cohort through DESE to look at all of the apps and things that we have. And this is something that I want to continue. So I was able to get into the learning cohort again, and we'll work with the Learning Accelerator. They'll be the coach to a team of teachers and administrators, anybody that's interested. Really, we want some student voice as well, to look at our the software that we use, the curriculum, and how they go together, making sure that we're using the right tools, that we don't have overlaps, we're meeting all our safety guidelines. Financially, we're able to sustain, and really looking at a full picture and getting that support from DESE. So that will be starting soon. And then the last thing is on the 15th of September, we were informed that we received the building capacity for higher quality instruction through EdTech grant that we applied for. Cheryl and I actually worked together on it and received $29,200. And this is going to support developing a professional learning community of teachers to get even deeper level technology training, to level up their understanding of technology and how it can really support the differentiation of teaching and learning to support our students, and to utilize the UDL principles, which is University Designed for Learning, to really support them. So lots of good things happening.
I have some updates. In the spring, Dave and I were talking about an iPad swap out over the summer. Happy to report that's done. 1,200 iPads all showing up right before school started. That was a little bit of a curve, but we were able to get through. We replaced all the iPads at the elementary schools and some of the 5th grade iPads. And I think we still are looking at possibly doing some of the 6th grade class with the remainder. Overall, things went pretty smoothly. We've gotten pretty good at doing this at this point. One of the hiccups we found, the new iPad does not have a headphone jack. So we're working through some of those little kinks, but overall, everything seems to be working well. This also gave the elementary students a keyboard as well. The old iPads did not have one of those. Help desk app, we've been using the same help desk app for seemingly forever, as long as I can remember, which is a pretty long time, because I've been here a while. We've took a chance on a new application this summer. We really like it. It's integrated with our Apple and Jamf solutions so that we can manage the iPads a little bit better with it. It also gives us almost more of like a customer record for each user, so we can help track, things like returning students returning with the same iPad problem over and over again. So those iPads there that Fallon and forgive me, I forgot your name. Mina have over there. Those, they're coming in all the time with the same problem. We can kind of track, see trends, issues with maybe a specific model or a specific group of students. We're excited to have those kinds of features. We didn't have those before. The reporting was kind of limited in the old one. Also, we have the option to push this out to the students as well, so that they can actually put in help desk tickets directly and kind of help us out a little bit with, keeping Sam from getting overwhelmed with students at the help desk, or he's very happy about that. It's really about that. The last thing I want to bring up to your attention, the infrastructure, the wired infrastructure in all 4 buildings is on a lease. The switching hardware specifically, the wiring itself is paid for. We're looking at starting that conversation with the vendors right now about replacing the equipment that we have. It's coming up on, the equipment's 5 years old, but the models are probably 6 or 7 years old. So they're going end of sale, and trying to find parts is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So we're putting that together. That's going to be an E-rate bid, so I'll put that in November-ish times to get some pricing and quotes and see what the federal government can do to help us with that. So more to come on that. Just want to put it on your radar so you're not surprised when I come back for it in budget season.
With big grants.
With grants, hopefully. That, it is worth pointing out that they do give us about 40% reimbursement on that equipment. So that's important, especially when you're dealing with $500,000 worth of it. So, but good news is the rest of it's on lease. So the lease cycle is wrapping up, the money's in the budget already, so that we're trying to get something in that same ballpark, so it's not a huge delta for Jay. So Jay doesn't, take me out of the woodshed.
Sounds good.
That's all I got.
Any questions?
Yeah, regarding the iPad swap out stuff. So I remember last year we were talking about rolling that into kind of part of the operating budget and replacing a new set of iPads every year. Is this the first year where we're starting to do that, or are
Yeah.
we still on the old?
So the idea was that we would kind of break it into two chunks because the amount we would have to ask in one fiscal year would have been kind of large. So by doing this now, these devices are on a lease. So when they age out, we will have, it's already in the budget. Apple hasn't really flung the pricing too far in any direction recently. The idea is hoping that we can maintain that now instead of asking for a huge swing in money every couple of years. Now it'll just be whatever the interest rate changes, for that.
The nice thing is they come with Apple Care for 4 years, correct?
That is one of the advantages of doing it in the bundle. We get the case with the keyboard, 4 years of Apple Care, no deductible. So when the device comes in broken, we can ship them out and get them repaired free of charge for that
You don't
4
need
years.
insurance on the devices as a result.
So ideally in the next round of this, and we'll talk about this in budget season again, is, replacing the other half of the fleet with the same model. And now it's built in and going forward.
So the fifth graders will have that same generation of iPad all the way through middle school. Kind of thing.
Correct.
Any other questions? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time. Okay. Next up is new business. Okay, I think we've got the out-of-state field trip approval from Mr. Jim Gorman.
Thank you. Oh, you got it? Perfect. Okay, well, thank you for having me back and considering these learning opportunities for our students. Let me see here. Should be coming up in a second. Just gonna find it. There we go. So we have two trips I would like for your approval. They're out-of-state trips. The first one is in Maine. It's the Maine Space Conference. It's the first one they're hosting. You're probably quite familiar. Maine is not known for its space. They're trying to change that as much as they can. Luckily, unlike Florida, it's not a very populated state on the coast. And so they see it as like the next hopeful launch site for rockets and stuff like that. It's just a lot of political stuff now they have to get through. And so their main space grant is hosting their inaugural space conference up in Maine. It's November 5th, so that's a Sunday. It starts in the afternoon, like 5-ish, and it goes through Tuesday, which Tuesday's election day for us. So that's just students have it off. We have PD that day. So that would be like a 2.5-day trip. Clear Plan is paying for all the students' registration fees. So that's $1,600 to register them for the conference. The registration fees include the food as well. Max IQ, who we've partnered with, who actually asked us and the students to be part of this, is putting forward $500 towards the rooms to kind of get us, alleviate a lot of the stress for the students to go financially, making it easier for them. I'm scheduled to participate on a panel discussion on Tuesday morning, and the students will participate in poster presentation session with all sorts of posters, other high school students, middle school students, and I know of Princeton University is going to be there. They're grad students, so I'm sure other grad students from around will be there as well. So that's the first one. Any questions with that one?
How many students?
Be about 8 students total.
8 students, me, and a chaperone, a female.
I have a question. Do you know from how far away you have people going to this conference? And does it tend to be more regional or?
Well, I know the Max IQ director and stuff, so South Africa, they're coming in from. I'm sure all over, I haven't really
Yeah,
checked.
just kind of wondering.
Yeah,
Is this a new one that you're
It's-
going to?
brand new,
Okay.
first one this year. The first time they're having it. Yeah, it's part of their, it's actually a collaboration between the space grant and this main space organization that's building this complex up there of places where they can just do more space rocketry. Like we went last year to Blue Shift, which is up in, where was that?
Brunswick.
Brunswick, thank you. Yeah. That's their part of it as well. There's actually several other aerospace companies up there now.
Have they considered the weather? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's the downside, right? The weather there. The weather and the lobstermen, they're a big lobby group. Because when they launch the rockets, they can't go into the national forest and they got to clear the oceans. So that means the lobstermen and fishermen have to move as well. So that's what they're dealing with up there with that whole situation. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves over the next 7 years and see if they can pull it off. So that's the first trip. Second one is our Epic Challenge Symposium, again, hosted down at NASA Goddard, right outside DC. So Mina went on this trip last year. It would be April 1st to the 4th. We had to shift the week. They had some conflicts down there. Same system as last year, leave on a Monday, travel day. Thursday would be another travel day back. We'll take a bus. Luckily last year we got over $8,000 in sponsorships. So the bus was totally free for the students, which was a huge, bus was over $7,000. So that was great. We hope to get sponsors again this year. For last year, students for that whole trip, food included, was $330. So not a bad deal. Again, Tuesday would be the symposium itself day with tours of NASA and that type of stuff, hosted presentations, and then Wednesday would be in DC. And this year we'll focus more on the Smithsonian museums because we had like 2 to 3 hours in there last year, and the kids all were clamoring that they wanted more time in the museums because they are just spectacular down there. So, questions on that one?
Not particularly related to this, but you know that there's a total solar eclipse the following week. That's you
Yes.
kind of be interested, you might be interested in. You know?
Yes. Yeah, we're working on a project for that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve both of Mr. Gordon's out-of-state field trips.
Second.
Discussion? Any questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you very
Congrats.
much.
Thank you. Let us know how it goes.
Will do. Thank you, Sam.
All right. School committee subcommittees. Let's see. The policy committee meeting will be on 9/25. That's
Today.
today. All right. You guys met earlier from 5:30 to 6:30 to review B policies to identify areas that need updates based on the MASC policy updates.
I think they have updates too.
All right, why don't I turn this over to you guys instead of me reading this?
Good. So we're continuing our policy review. We're buzzing through the beads. And we looked at primarily BDFA. So we had a slew of BDFA policies. And so what we found was that we had previously approved in the spring policy BDFA. We had revised it just to like align it with some changes in the MASC sort of model policies. And in looking at BDFA E3, we had already incorporated all of that information into BDFA. So we are planning to drop E3 as it's now just superfluous. And we also created BDFA E, which consolidates what we had as BDFA E1 and BDFA E2. So we essentially just merge them into one policy. So, and that's pretty much it. I think, you know, we identified some other policies that we need to review based on MASC has added some new policies and revised some others. So, so we'll be taking a look at those based on MASC feedback. So those are in sections D and J, and then we'll continue to kind of go through the B policies one by one, just to make sure that they're as up to date as possible. So we can, this, you know, in terms of BDFA, like this can be a first reading if people want to look and see, like they're linked to in the background notes, so you can take a look, or if you're comfortable with just the basics. We
I
don't.
apologize that I didn't read this yesterday like I was supposed to.
No, it wasn't really there yesterday. We only looked at it like
30
an hour
minutes.
So, but so you can look at it and we can vote on it next time, or you can look at it now. And like we didn't really change any language. We just sort of like merge things together. So you want to take a quick look at it now, we can just kind of wait a second read and then vote on it tonight.
And nothing was added to it.
It looks pretty benign.
It was basically the same language in two, and they just consolidated to one, and they just did the same thing.
I make a motion, we accept this policy.
Second.
Good. Any other discussions, questions? All right, all in favor? Aye. All right. BDFA-E is approved.
The most exciting.
Always wait for the Cs. All right, are there any other matters that were not anticipated by the committee in the last 48 hours since we posted the agenda? I don't have any. Anyone else? Okay. So for correspondence, no?
Will I have a chance to have 5 minutes at some point? I just went back through yours.
For community comments? Sure, yeah, why don't you come on up and we can do that right now. If you don't mind, when you start, if you could just introduce yourself.
Sure.
And
I'm Marcia Keselowski. I live at 10 Whitney Lane in Upton. So why I'm here is I believe the school committee, or at least some people within the school department, received a letter asking for input regarding an apartment building that they are planning on putting up. And they wanted feedback by October the 11th. And I just wanted to make you aware of concerns of the neighbors. We had 63 neighbors send letters of concerns to Mass Housing, because this is going to be a 40B. Although we're all for affordable housing, it's just the location. And one prime concern we have is the safety of the kids. They're planning this on Main Street. If you know where the funeral home is, to the left of the funeral home would be the entrance to the units. It's going to be 68 apartments. And the concern is this: we have so much traffic now on 140 that we've had an increase in the number of accidents. We had studies going on Hartford Ave and on School Street because of the congestion of traffic. I guess the Mass DOT has actually marked School Street as for an improvement in the situation because of they're higher than expected in the accident rate. So what's happened is, if you know where Memorial School is, you know that Fisk Ave runs along Memorial School, and that is also the driveway, one of the driveways into Memorial School. That road over time has become clogged with traffic. If you've been by there recently, you've seen yellow signs go up that our neighbors put up, because not only is there a lot more traffic, they're speeding through there. And we have children there. So we're very concerned that if they put up this apartment with 68 units, that'll be 120 cars going out. Even in the morning, if people are working from home, you have to figure out half of them will be commuting. When they see the congestion on School Street and Hartford Ave, they're looking for a shortcut. And that's why we're having all this traffic now up Fisk. So we're concerned about what this is going to do to the school and what it's going to do to the safety of our kids. Along with that, if you know 140, the road kind of curves where they're going to put the entrance. They're going to have a bus stop there for the kids. Now, sometimes you can have a bus stop and one child gets on and it's not a real problem. But if you have 68 units, you're probably going to have more than one or two children getting on the bus. And there's a line of sight issue that we brought up. And we're concerned that kids getting on or off the bus, cars coming out, there's going to be an accident and kids are going to get hurt. So we just wanted to make sure you're aware of this. They sent out a packet that the developer did, and in that is a traffic report, a traffic study. And in the study, I'll just let you know, they studied School Street, and they studied Mendon, and they studied Hartford. And they studied where they sort of said they didn't really worry about the line of sight at their entrance, but they didn't do anything around Fisk. And that's where we're seeing a lot more traffic, especially when they were doing the construction on Hartford Ave. We see the overflow coming up there. So we're very concerned about the kids. If you would like more information, I do have a few handouts that I can give you, but please do look at the information, reach out to me. I'll be glad to provide any answers that I can or point you in the right direction to get answers. But be aware, we're very concerned about what this is going to do to the school children.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Okay, so wrapping up here tonight, we've got correspondence. Last week, we did receive a formal request from the Mendon-Upton Regional Teachers Association to commence the bargaining over a successor contract. And so now we've got a negotiations committee meeting coming up in the next week or two. And at that point, I think we'll propose some dates back to the Mendon-Upton Regional Teachers Association to kick off the conversations. All right, future agenda items. We've got a human resources update coming. We've got an update on student support services, the school improvement plans. And if there's nothing else, we can go ahead and get a motion to adjourn at 7:35.
We adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:35.
Cool.
Just as Mr.
James.
Byers